Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to It's Still COVID Times, so why would I get a haircut? So, this morning, over in the stream, over at twitch.tv/JGigs, 10 a.m. Eastern every weekday, we were playing around a lot with my dungeon teams. I have been making some tweaks to my clan boss team. I'm trying to work up to a 1 key for my clan boss team. And so we made some tweaks there. I kind of did a lot of that last night, very early on in the stream today. We did some of that. And then we moved on and started playing around with my dragon team. And I figured I would share what we came up with. Shout out to Leo and everybody else in the stream that was, helping me pick through my gear and try different comps. And we had a really good time testing out a lot of things and getting this built. So I figured I would share it with you guys because it's about a 45 to 50 second average run team, and it's 100% success. They have not failed. We tested it a bunch in the stream this morning. I did my 100 auto runs after the stream. They made it all the way through that without a problem. I've tested it several times after. They have not failed a run. Like it seems like they can't really fail. So obviously that's going to be dependent on your gear and everything. And considering that we're trying to speed run a stage 20 dungeon, just understand that this is not for like someone transitioning into mid game. This is going to be a little bit later game stuff. You don't have to be all the way full end game or anything, but this is kind of later stuff. If you're working on getting a team that's 100% consistent for D20, probably not time to start this yet, but I figured I would show it. I'm sure there's going to be a crowd for it. And, we can talk a little bit about how everybody's built and everything. I'll go ahead and show you the run, and then we'll go in and look at all the champs that are part of the team. We'll take a look at how they're built. So we've got a Royal Guard, of course. Now, we're going to talk a lot about Royal Guard's spot in this team because it is not mandatory. Jesus Christ, I'm about to explode. It's not mandatory that you have a Royal Guard for this spot, okay? Any good HP nuker, max HP nuker, can fit here, okay? Your team's not really going to take hits on the waves too much if you can hit the speeds. And his AI is a little bit goofy sometimes. Sometimes fresh after a Kymar reset, he'll still use his A3 first. And I don't know if that's because there's not multiple targets. I don't know what the deal is, but I've watched him very closely, especially in the lead up to pushing record, because I wanted to watch the run. I wanted to really be able to pinpoint everything that was going on in the run. And he's annoying. He costs us seconds sometimes by not using takedown when it's clearly available, but it is what it is. I mean, it's still a sub 1 minute time with 100% clear rate. So, but we're going to talk about some swaps for him. We have Draco here. There are some swaps for Draco as well. It's a little bit of a harder role to fill. If you happen to have a Venus by some miracle, Venus can do this job as well. And my Venus, I've subbed her in a few times, and she does it fine. It's, anybody with a good AoE defense break, I think you're going to want to match. I mean, the lower the cooldown, the better, but I guess the cooldown doesn't really matter because first wave is going to get cleared immediately. Second wave, you're going to go through a turn, Kymar's going to reset, they're going to clear immediately. And then it's just a matter of how quick can you get through the dragon, right? The better you turn cycle, the quicker you can get around to that defense break and weaken and get all that up, the quicker the run's going to be, okay? So the lesser cooldowns are better, but it's not mandatory. If you don't have Draco or Venus, you can try this with an AoE defense break. Obviously, the damage is going to be a little bit more... the damage requirements in your gear is going to be a little bit higher, but you could probably even be done with a War Maiden, and maybe at some point I'll work to build one up and get her in the squad. But anybody with an AoE defense break, I think, could fit. Gear requirements just get a little bit higher, and you probably lose a few seconds because Draco is contributing some damage and some poisons and things like that. Obviously, we have Kymar for the reset here, and then we have Seer, the Seer Mage combo, and that's it. So let's watch what they do, watch the run in action, and then we'll talk about it. And I have played around with Royal Guard and Kymar, like having one go before the other. It seems to not really matter too much. I kind of thought having Kymar go before Royal Guard would be a noticeable bump in speed. It's not really. It can help, but the reason that it's not really with Royal Guard anyway is because he's goofy. Sometimes his AI just doesn't do what you need it to do, but it is what it is. You see how quickly we cleared those waves. The Seer Mage combo is just nasty. And the reason that combo works so well, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but if you don't know, we have Mage on a shield set, and then he places 3 buffs. So that puts 4 buffs on everybody. And Seer will go ahead and use her A3 instead of prioritizing anything else, because you know her AI does some weird stuff too. So you can see there we got a 50-second run. Seer did a ton of the damage, and Draco did a good bit of the damage as well with the poisons and any kind of hits. Thankfully, he fits into this comp because of the way we have him built for Clan Boss. He needs to be the fastest, right? He needs to kick off the fight, put up the defense breaks and weakens. Mage needs to go next, puts up the buffs. Seer goes next, kills the wave. And then it doesn't really matter which one of these 2 guys go first. So let's go take a look at their builds and talk about them. Now, I made that video a while back about building the 1-key Clan Boss team. I've made quite a few changes to Draco lately. He's on a Relentless set now, and that seems counterintuitive to the Clan Boss setup, the Unkillable Clan Boss setup, because you'd think he'd proc out of his Unkillable and die. But the way that comp is set up, he's never going to take a hit that isn't directly attached to one of the Man-Eaters using their buffs. So even if he procs himself into being naked with no buffs, the hits are always going to come right after the Man-Eaters use their buffs, right? So he's always going to be safe, the way that the team is set up. So we can put him on Relentless, he can proc, he can do more damage, he can get back around to the poisons faster, all of those things, okay? But he is the fastest on the team. We've got him at the 224 mark, so he just needs to be going first, right? Coming in behind him, we've got Mage. Oh, and if you want to take a peek at the Masteries, this is what we got Draco looking like. Pretty standard stuff here. Just worked our way down to the Clan Boss Mastery. And then over here, we did things to give him accuracy. Again, we can't be doing things that are affecting his turn meter because we are using him in Clan Boss as well. We skipped over this because we don't need it for the speed, so I figured I would just hit this for cooldowns. And then the debuff extension, that's what we're looking at for Draco's Masteries. Nothing too crazy going on there, right? And then next in line, we've got Mage. Now, I don't even have Masteries on this dude yet, because I've only really very casually played around with him in the past. I was trying some stuff with him in Arena, but I've never really needed to use him. So we may have to go do his Masteries. Maybe that would help out a little bit, but we've got him on a shield set, and then just a little broken set here. We've got his speed at 204. Now, these aren't like hard, you must hit these specific speeds. It's not like a Clan Boss team where you have to hit these speeds. Turn order just needs to be right, and everybody needs to be generally fast enough, right? The faster, the better. But ultimately, as long as they're faster than the enemies and everybody's going first, you'll be all right for the most part. You know, you don't have to get stupid, crazy fast with everything. But it's fairly straightforward. Just make him tanky, make him fast enough to go second, and that'll be that. He's going to throw the buffs up. And again, the reason that we have him on a shield set is for the extra buff on the whole team, so that Seer will be guaranteed to use her nuke skill, right? And that brings us to Seer. Now, I have her on this Relentless set because a while back when I was playing around with some stuff, I had her on a Relentless set to try to get her back around to that nuke skill quicker before I was doing things like we're doing them now. And the stats are actually not bad. So we're probably going to rework her, honestly, at some point. But it's not really that big of a deal that she's on Relentless, because even if she procs a bunch, she's still going to come in that second wave after Kaimar's reset. So it might cost you a couple seconds if she takes a couple of extra turns before Kaimar can get that reset off. But it's not, she doesn't have to be on Relentless is basically where we're trying to arrive at here. Make sure she's got 100 crit rate. You don't want her not critting and then crit damage. And that's really it. That's really all she needs. Get her fast enough to go third. You see she comes in right behind Mage, and get her to that 100 crit rate mark. We went a little bit overboard here with it. So like I said, there's tweaks to be made for sure, but this is what we ended up with. And then as much crit damage as you can get. We can get more damage out of her, but we really don't need it. She's still easily one-shotting the waves with the buffs from Mage, so it's not really a big deal, but crit rate, crit damage, make her go third, okay? And then Masteries for her. is basically what we're looking at. Get her down to, I like to get her down to the crit damage mastery. You know, we took kind of a weird roundabout way. We might mix some of this up. We might go like the full HP, extra damage. We might mix this up. The first hit on each enemy thing. There's some stuff to be done here, I think. Yeah, there's the first hit. So we might do like a 2. We might change her masteries up. Masteries aren't super crazy important. Because again, with all the buffs that Mage is putting on her, it's not really that hard for her to one-shot the wave. And it's not like you have to also focus attack. You know, this is one of the rare instances where you can just go speed, crit rate, crit damage, and be fine. The rest of it doesn't really matter too much. If she has a little bit of HP, that's nice, so that she doesn't get one-shotted by the dragon, you know, but she doesn't, you don't have to build her. She's not as stat intensive as some other nukers are. And then coming in behind her, we've got, I think currently we have Kymar, because I'm switching my Royal Guards back and forth. One of my Kymars is a little bit, one of my Royal Guards is a little bit faster than Kymar, the other one's a little bit slower. You can see we don't even have speed boots on Kymar. He's probably the easiest one to build here, because all he has to do is go last. That's really it. All he has to do is go last and be able to take a hit. You know what I mean? Take one hit at the dragon, 1 or 2 hits tops. It's very easy. I have him on a reflex. You can see I don't even have his stuff leveled up. Like, he is so not gear intensive for this. It's crazy. Basically, he needs to come in at the end of the run. You know, he can go 4th or 5th depending on who your 5th is. It's not a big deal. We'll tweak it and play around with it and maybe find out what's the most optimal way to have it set up. But you know, and he also doesn't have to be on reflex. This is again from an earlier time when I was trying different things, and it's not awful on the dragon. Sometimes it can help him get back around to his refresh a little quicker, but it's not crucial at all. You just put whatever you got on him and make sure that he's not faster than he needs to be, right? And then for the last spot, we have Royal Guard. Now, both of my Royal Guards, again, they look generally the same. This one's a little bit low on the crit rate, but the crit damage is way up. The speed's where we need it. It's fine. And then this one, the crit rate's where we need it. Crit damage is basically the same. Speed's a little bit lower. You know, the typical Royal Guard build. You don't need a ton of speed on him. It's cool if he goes last, because Seer is going to take care of the waves. So really, you're just trying to get him there to help nuke the dragon down quicker. And as for his masteries, this is what we have on him. You know, it's not really a big deal. I like to get him down to crit damage as well. And this is kind of what I like for the Royal Guard, just like 2 and 2 and 2 thing, and then down to flawless execution. And it works. He does his job for the most part. His AI is a little goofy sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know what the stipulation is. I hear some talk that it's got something to do with whether or not there's a defense breakup. It's not that. I promise you, it's not that. I've been watching very closely. There's defense down. There's weaken. Kymar resets, and he'll come in with hamstring. It is really goofy, but again, it's a 40 to 50-ish second run. 100% success rate. They do not fail. So now, as far as substitutions, we talked a little bit about subs for Draco. You know, Venus can fit right into that spot very comfortably because she's also got the defense down and weaken. Anybody else that brings the defense down and weaken can certainly fit into that spot comfortably. If you don't have a defense down weaken, you can try some AoE defense breaks. You know, there's quite a few of them out there. And, you know, someone like a Stag Knight might be nice to throw up the attack down, just in case you have to take a couple of extra hits from the dragon. You could alleviate that. Mage is going to be removing the debuffs, so that's not a big deal. You're not going to have to worry too much about the debuffs being up on everybody. And the timing works out perfectly, because you get to the dragon, he hasn't used the skill yet, and then he doesn't use that until all the debuffs get put on everybody, so he cleanses them basically immediately. It's really nice having Mage on the team, and that's probably not something I would have tried, to be honest with you. So again, shout out to the stream to Leo in particular in the stream for, you know, having me try new stuff. As far as substitutions for Royal Guard spot, I do want to work on getting a Septimus in that spot. He has drastically less crit damage. Both of my Septimi have drastically less crit damage than my guards. And now that I'm not using these guys in Clan Boss anymore, I don't have to be so specific with their speed, right? It was a little bit harder to do other things with them because I had to hit a very specific speed when I was using them in my Clan Boss team. I'm not using them anymore, so I can open up the gear a little bit. So we may even just transfer some gear over from a Royal Guard onto the Septimus and see if that speeds it up. But I'm not going to bother doing it right this minute. Some other examples are, of course, Cold Heart. Cold Heart can fit into this spot pretty well. The thing with Cold Heart is that sometimes she'll, of course, you're going to end up in situations where she's using Heartseeker without a defense down up, and that hurts. That kind of sucks. Having Chimera on the team alleviates that a little bit. She could get back around to it a little quicker. But of course, Cold Heart is a fantastic max HP nuker. Husk is actually not a bad option. Husk can do some pretty good max HP damage and offer a little bit more security in the waves, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm going to go to the index because I don't want to search through. That's Torture Helm. Where's Husk? Is Husk not an orc? My mind's going to be blown if Husk isn't an orc. It's going to be straight up blown. What is Husk? Oh, this is going to be an ordeal right here. What the hell is Husk? Husk is undead. I have never looked at his skin that closely. He was just an orc. For the whole time I've been playing this game, in my head, Husk is just an orc. He looks different than I thought. I thought he was Torture Helm. Wow. Anyway. The AoE stun here with the max HP, so it could, if you need it, if you end up needing it, you won't, but if you ended up needing it, there's a little bit of safety in Wave 2 for him to potentially land some stuns. You won't need it, though. See, it's going to work out in a way where Seer comes in and cleans it up anyway. But he can do some max damage HP. There are other max HP nukers in the game that you can fit in. So that's it. That's the team. That's the setup. There's some options you can kind of flex here with Draco's spot and with Royal Guard spot. I'm going to say that Mage and Seer and Chimera are kind of necessary for this, unfortunately. The unfortunate part being the Chimera, I would say. A little bit easier to get Mage and Seer. I like Mage. There are other options for good buffers to bring that damage. The reason that I think Mage stands out is because he's also got that cleanse. So as soon as the dragon puts up all the debuffs on you, he gets rid of them. He just removes any element of danger, right? The danger you would run into at the dragon, he eliminates it. Whereas someone like Mashaled or Shamrock, who is great to pair with Seer for the buffs and the damage, don't necessarily offer that same kind of utility once you get to the dragon stage, right? So just something to keep in mind there. But hopefully this helps some of you. I know that there's a lot of speedrun stuff out there. Hopefully I showed you something you haven't seen or said something you haven't heard before. I learned that the issue with Seer, for example, today, sometimes why she wouldn't use her A3 is because of the amount of buffs. If there's 4 buffs up, it's guaranteed. So putting Mage on that shield set, guaranteed she's going to use it. And yeah, that was kind of like a revelation today. I had not heard that in the past, so pretty cool. Having a really good time, again, building this stuff in the stream. If you want to come hang out with us and ask us some questions, we can try to help you get something sorted out. If you want to just come in and hang out while we build teams like this. We're moving on to Fire Night next. We'll be doing Fire Night tomorrow morning in the stream. That's kind of the big focus right now. I want to get that Fire Night team down, so we're farming up some gear today and hopefully able to make some changes tomorrow. And working on trying to use champs in different places. I like that we got our Draco in a situation where I can use him in this Unkillable Clan Boss team and in my Speed Dragon team, right? So that's kind of stuff we're trying to make happen. So if you want to come hang out, we play a lot of mini games as well. We got trivia and all kind of goofy little stuff we're doing. I'm going to give away a gift card every Friday. Being there during the week in the streams, helps you, definitely increases your chance of getting on the list for Friday's giveaway. We're just trying to have a good time, trying to help each other out, and trying to have some fun playing this game while we wait on some content. So that's it. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys got a kick out of this, and maybe I'll see you in the stream. Have a good one.